I hadn't acted on camera in a long time. So coming back to Dorothy's World really got me back into that kind of environment. And anybody who deals with anxiety, and tons of people do, knows that it can be very debilitating. So when I was younger, it really was, and then you work through it and you do what you can, and every day gets better. And so now I'm kind of back in the swing of things. I haven't for a long time, but it was at that time in my life more difficult. So to then come back on it, to kind of go, okay, I think I'm ready to do this, and to walk back on that set with everybody, it really was just like, oh, this is exactly what I used to do.
Wow, that's amazing. But it's very personal.
Thank
you. Christy?
Yeah?
How different is it stepping into a role that's live action versus the studio, Broadway, stand-up, improv? You studied ballet, so you know what it's like to. I got that right? I did some research on you. Okay. I was looking at my questions going, I hope I wrote down the right notes. So you must know how that feels to be that pressure of the live audience versus being able to memorize your lines versus working with your cast and crew.
Yeah, you have to be careful not to burn out, especially when you start as young as we did. You have to live your life. You have to be a full person. You can't just have one hobby. It's not that this was a hobby for us, but you can't just, even just speaking to you guys, it's like, you have to diversify yourself. So for me, that was going to college and sort of just getting sort of a more well-rounded. And it did take me 12 years to finish my degree, but I finally did it like 2 years ago. It's pretty empowering, and now I'm directing and producing. So it's interesting because now it's just about what the industry means to me, because obviously I'm not going to quit the industry. I can't quit. I wish I could quit it. I can't. I'm a lifer. That's what I call us.
It sounds like I'm a lifer. I'm in, I'm not getting out. Yeah, right. I'm in cell block D of acting.
I love that you mentioned you're directing, you're producing, because one of these Twitter questions is about how you, as Kim Possible, broke a lot of gender stereotypes, and how did that feel being a part of that? And
I feel like he was just as much a part of that. I mean, Ron was definitely a feminist.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm just like girls. I'm like him, that's all.
But there was never a question, there was never resistance from Ron's character to be like, well, why are you taking the reins? Like, there was never that ego, there was just, how are we going to save the day collaboratively, and that was definitely new for fresh. That was a fresh take on this.
I think so too, yeah.
absolutely. Well, Terry McGinnis,
Yes.
and beyond, this Twitter question is, how was it what was your approach on establishing establishing new superheroes, especially being a successor to Batman?
It's actually, I think I had it easier than a lot of people did because I never had to be Bruce. I can still sit here and say I was the best Terry McGinnis there ever was. Because I was the only Terry McGinnis there ever was. So it's when you step into the role of Bruce Wayne, you're being compared to kind of everything else. That was as a character. As an actor, I was terrified when I got there because I'd never done it before. Until the man sitting to my right, who some of you have heard of, named Kevin Conroy, who is Batman, who's just Batman, kind of took me under his wing. And, it was little things like, no, sit back. And as an actor, even as we're sitting here speaking in the microphone, as an actor, when somebody talks to you, your instinct is to turn away and talk like this, which is fine, except when you're recording. So you don't want what do you do, Terry? Well, I don't know, Bruce. You got to talk into the thing in front of you so we can record what you're saying. So he really took me under his wing and brought me along. But yeah, again, I think it would have been far more difficult to be Bruce Wayne and just be compared to all the other Bruce Waynes than it was to be Terry, where it didn't matter if I stunk. I was still the first one to ever do it. So
I watched a panel with you two, you and Kevin Conroy, and I love this moment where he turns to Will and he says, both Will and I know that you have to bring your entire experience. The timbre of your voice is in your experience when you act. And it was like a magical moment where he said, we both brought that to Batman.
Yeah, well, it was again, you have Kevin Conroy, and he was here last year, so I don't know how many of you actually met him. He's a big man, and that's his voice. So he walks in and goes, good morning. So it's just the coolest thing in the world. And then he's right. It was Terry was kind of a young, lost kid, and at the time I was living in Los Angeles by myself. I was scared to meet there next to him, and it was one. So all of that does transfer into the performance and through the microphone. And then of course we need to move on to Return to the Joker, where I have Kevin Conroy on one side of me and Mark Hamill on the other, and I'm the kid in the middle just going. It was awesome. So that you're just, and to see the different styles, you know, Kevin is sitting in a chair, very straight back. He's still 7 feet tall while sitting in a chair. And then there's Mark Hamill, who's standing and up this close to the microphone. And you're just like watching this going, oh, don't say anything or they're gonna realize you're not supposed to be here to kick you out. Don't say anything. So it was, it was truly just watching the other actors is an incredible experience. When you know, I worked with, and as Christy, we worked with some incredible on-camera people. I mean, some of the best of the best around there. A uber talented voiceover actor is the greatest actor I've ever seen in my life. They're just, because that's all you have is the microphone. You don't have any makeup, you don't have, that's it. It's you and a microphone, and you disappear into this thing. And when you see Mark Hamill or Rob Paulson or Jeff Bennett or Tara Strong or any of these people that are just these phenomenal voiceover actors, they're the best actors I've ever worked with in my life. They're incredible.
Christy, I love this sort of question for you. It says, do you ever get to play any of the games that you voiced in, or obviously the shows, and is it weird to hear your different voices?
Well, I'm kind of sad that we never got to do the Epcot ride. Did you?
The whole finding the tour thing?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever did
And it
that.
was running for years.
Yeah.
And they replaced it with the Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, so we got called up. I think it had been when KP was still playing, but the season was over, the fourth season was done. And they decided to create this ride at Epcot where you save the world. And you went around the world with a communicator.
Yeah, they had the KP that
Things would come out of the wall, and you could do it. I'm sure it was
and it was our voices going like, okay, you're in Japantown. Okay, look around. You gotta find the thing. It was really cool.
It
Yeah.
was so cool.
Yeah, it was
I
there for years.
I'm sad I didn't play that. Other than that, I played the Game Boy game that I think we had, and Kingdom Hearts too. I played that.
Woo! Will, what about, this one's for you. Did you get to improv any of Nightwing's lightheartedness?
No. I mean, it depends on what project you're in. In the Batman Unlimited movies, no, we kind of stuck to the script. In the Batman, the Lego verse, you can kind of play a little more. Which is great when you're Lego to be able to play. So you can kind of play a little more when you're in that kind of world, and that's more. And again, it's far easier to be able to improv. Those people are leaving. Stop those people immediately. It's easier to improv when you are.
Yeah, that was like magic that just happened.
Oh wow, that's very sweet. It's easier to improv when you're with the whole group of people, because it's hard to improv by yourself because you don't know how anybody else will kind of react to what you're saying. So when you're with everyone, it's great. Just chucking stuff.
Feeding the baby.
That's our husband, by the way, not some strange. Just threatening, just chucking food.
That is a keeper right there, Christy. Woo! Let's see, Christy, this one's for you. You penned a novel, Grace's Turn, when Teenage Book of the Year. Is writing something that you'll continue or want to pursue?
Writing, yeah. I mean, speaking of upcoming projects, my husband and I, great timing, huh?
It's awesome.
Brendan and I co-wrote a Christmas movie that's going to be out with Contra Call. I don't know if you guys know him, he's like a YouTube sensation, but he's a small part. And then Sean Ryan Fox, who's in Every Danger on Nickelodeon, and
Joey Lawrence.
Joey Lawrence is in it as well. So that's coming out this Christmas, as well as my baby's coming out this Christmas.
Seriously, be careful which one you buy tickets for, because they're two very different shows. Very different shows.
I approach writing both of them differently.
Yeah.
Different Bill writes as well.
I do, yeah.
Tell us about your own.
Matthew Lawrence back on Girl 12 for that episode where Eric becomes a senator, or is senator, or the world is still in one piece, which is great. So writing is always a fun part of that experience.
Christy?
I wouldn't want to exclusively write.
She's talking to a writer.
You write all by yourself, you don't have a partner.
No.
I write, sorry.
And you
We
write
both
as well.
do, yeah.
You're an author.
I am. I write a solo author every day, day in, day out. It's very draining.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do it day to day out. I need
I have a lot of
breaks.
respect for you guys.
Good.
So it's-
Discipline, writing discipline.
It's a routine.
Yeah.
Making sure that you stick to that routine. And Monday through Thursday, my nanny comes, she watches Cora, that's my daughter, and I write, and it's the only way I can get those chapters out.
And sometimes it's hard because you guys have need the creativity to strike you, and to get that on the paper. But you have to keep your schedule because writers write. They write every single day, so that's good advice, right?
Some of them.
So they should though, right?
Well, they should, and then there's some writers, I'm not saying who, that then you have to wait 10, 12 years to get a book. I didn't say anything, I'm saying some writers, you wait a long time, who knows who.
Just so you know, Will and I are Brandon Sanderson fans.
Brandon's
We're both
a
fans.
huge fantasy fan, so it's sometimes the fantasy world can be infuriating.
It can. Christy, I love this. How did it feel getting chased by a lawn chair and even Stevens?
Yeah, they put me through hell on that show. I was pelted with, paint-filled tomatoes from like day one. I was one week there was a pig that I had to act with that was exclusively my co-star.
Hey, that was my first show. Great.
Oh my god! It actually took my braces off in one episode, which the guy that was actually the orthodontist was my actual orthodontist.
And did they really take your braces off?
They had taken them off that morning, and then I went to set and started filming, so it was really quite funny. But that's how you know you're growing up on this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Your orthodontist is back.
All right, we're ready for it. Yep, we're ready. It's time. Go ahead.
I feel like we're making good time.
We are. We're right on time.
Hi, my name's Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi. I have a 3-part question. It's really fast. And it's actually 2
We
questions.
slow down. I'm pregnant. I'm like, fancy.
We'd love to hear.
It's 2 questions and a statement. The first question is, I want to say them all together. The first question is, when I saw Mr. Feeney, he was the coolest person in the entire world, and I thought of him kind of that's the grandpa that I never had. He is so cool.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if you ever thought of him that way outside of the show. Also, how do you feel about marrying someone you share grandpa with?
Mary told me what?
Because I thought of him as a grandpa. I'm wondering if you thought of him as a grandpa.
Right.
And how you feel about marrying someone with the same grandpa as you. So basically, I want to marry you with the same grandpa? Is that okay?
That was the statement.
Let's take the first part first. Bill Daniels, for my on-camera career, is what Kevin Conroy was to my voiceover career. Bill really took me under his wing right away. We love him. He was, first of all, he's a wonderful man. He was always incredibly sweet to us, but he never treated us like children. We were fellow actors. It doesn't matter if you're 5 years old as Lily Nixay, or you're 40 years old as William Russ. When the show started, we were actors, and that's your job. That's what you're there to be. You're not a little kid. You're not going to be treated like a little kid. You're a professional actor, and you're at work. So it wasn't cold to us, but he treated us like equals, which at the time was exactly what we needed. Talk about a classically trained actor. I mean, this man in 7 years never missed a mark. He taught us what it was, to be a professional actor, and this is your job. If your call time is at 8 o'clock in the morning, you are there at 7. You are there, you're ready, you have your lines. This is what you do for a living. This is not you're going to show up at 8:30, 8:45 because you're a kid on a TV show, and I'll be there when. No. This is your job, and you're privileged to have it. So he really taught us what it was like to be a professional. As for your other question, it is a month ago today I got married. So, had you asked me 6 weeks ago.
Well, I have a statement. I'm actually married too. And my husband is sitting back there. And we got married in June. I have a crush on you, and he has the biggest crush on you, Christy. So we really want that cup, and that's my statement.
Oh, hey. That's a good question. So far, I absolutely think they're still married. They're married right now. I think they've started a family of little superheroes, and I think they're amazingly happy. That's just my opinion. I honestly think they were meant to be together.
Yeah, definitely meant to be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, they have signed it, right.
What's that meme of Kim and Ron is still better than Twilight?
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Next
Thank
question.
you.
Thanks, Melissa.
Hi.
Hey, Kim.
Are you Kim? You are. That's awesome.
Kim Possible was, I grew up with it and everything. One of the things that I loved about it was breaking the stereotypes of the characters and everything. And my question is going to be that where do you guys think they would be now, Kim and Ron?
Besides
But,
Mary.
yeah, that was kind of answered already. So,
You want to get to the back of the line and think of another question?
well,
Well, no, it's still a good question though, is what would they be doing now? It's
Yeah.
not, I mean, they could be married and have kids, but like, what would their jobs be?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kim is obviously, like, I could see Kim as something like a senator or a congressman, like somebody who's like actively trying to help the world in some kind of way, like a politician or something along those lines.
and where's Rufus?
Does anybody know the longevity of the Ninja Turtles?
It's been a long time, guys.
It's been a long time, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he could be like the little mouse in the Green Mile, that's alive forever. We'd like to think of him like that. Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, you never know, but that's a good question. I wonder what Ron would be doing right now. I think Ron actually...
I'll try to keep expansive.
No, I think Ron is now Vice President and CEO of the Bueno Nacho Corporation. It just says Ron Stop Booyah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I was wondering for Will.
Yes.
For Eric Matthews, he started off as, I guess, an underachiever.
I know where this question's going.
But like over the years,
He got stupid.
What was your reaction like when you heard this? As we're going to tone down his IQ just a bit.
I so wish that's how it happened. So here's the thing. When you start a show, they write a character and the actor plays the character. As they get to know you better, they start to just write for you. I'd like to think I'm certainly not a stupid guy, but you're hard-pressed to meet a bigger goofball and just the wacky kind of, so they kind of just started to write more to me. And it came off as dumb, but I'd like to think he was just absent-minded and had a heart of gold, which is kind of, again, people are like, why did you get to be like that? It's like, because they started to write for me. That's unfortunately how it happens. So, there are theories, though. There's an episode where Eric is trapped in a car with a woman. I can't remember which one, I'm so sorry. Because at the beginning, he was like the cool older brother who had dates all the time. And there's an episode where they're trapped in the snow and he repeatedly hits his head against the window. And people have like written things where it's like, something happened to his brain. Because from that episode on, he becomes an idiot. So let's go with that. Contusion as the answer. Subdural hematoma is the answer to your question.
Hi, my name is Micah. I don't want to put a negative tone on this, but what are your thoughts on the Screen Actors Guild video game voice actors?
Wow, okay. It's important. This strike is important. It needs to happen. Less than 1% of a video game budget is spent on the actors. And when you can go out and you can shred an actor's voice and then go make $1 billion on a video game and give the actors $900, that's not okay. Yeah, I firmly stand with them. It has to be done and it needs to change, or the video game industry is going to suffer and it's going to be their fault. So you get, people have, especially in the video game industry, have a habit of saying, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You'll find we don't need you. We'll get somebody off the street. Let's see how that works. And all your video games that are becoming movies, these are active films that the player is taking a role in. Let's see what happens when all the characters you're playing can't act. You're not going to like them. I promise you, your video games are really going to suffer. So this one's important. It really matters. And I know a lot of people can stand aside and say, well, these actors they're striking and they're rich and they're overpaid. Not voiceover actors. Voiceover actors aren't making hundreds of millions of dollars. They're not signing $1 million contracts. they are shredding their voices for these video games and making almost nothing do it. While games like Halo and things like that are making literally hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and none of it is being shared with the people that are sweating for it. So it needs to change. Good question.
Yes, my name is Steve.
Oh no!
And I have a few questions for you.
Oh,
Maybe like 8 and 9. First off, I wanted to say that Kim Possible should be in Epcot. I hate Phineas and Ferb. So you guys should be in because I played the game. It was a lot of fun. Things moved and stuff. We had the little phone. I did play it. That's right. All right, I have a few questions for you. First of all, Will, what was it like to work with Ryder Strong?
Working with Ryder Strong.
That's good. Next question. You did, I think it was a film in 1988 called Don't Just Sit There. How was that?
Don't Just Sit There was wonderful, and Nickelodeon was a wonderful place to work in the late 80s.
It's nice. Law and Order, you played Russ in Law and Order. Were you serious in that film, or the show, or was it?
Ask for this.
It was wonderful playing Russ in Law and Order.
Cool. Also, you played Luke in The Gift of Love. Were you the love interest in this one?
Were you the gift of love?
No, I gave my heart to Andy Griffith in that movie of the week.
That's very nice. Well, there is an after-school special. You played Jason Gallagher in an after.
I did. That one was called Educating Mom, and that was about a mom who goes to school with her kid. You got my whole IMDb page.
You know, there's also one thing. Brad Kimball, Trojan. What was that? Is that like some
Trojan
sort
War.
of protection of some sort of movie?
It actually was. It was about a kid looking for a condom.
I guess he found it. Christy, you did a lot. Well, you have a beautiful voice. You sing a lot of stuff. You did Beauty and the Beast on Broadway.
Oh, thank you.
How was that?
Well, there was this one time that I met this guy.
That's good. Next
Wait,
question.
I gotta finish this one. His name was Joey Fatone, and he was starring in Rent at the same time that I was starring on Broadway.
He sucks.
But I gotta admit to you, he's very talented. It's not easy for us stuck casted actors
He was
to
my
just
favorite new
do
kid.
8 shows a week.
All right, I have 8 more questions. 2002, you did the blockbuster Hollywood Christmas Spectacular, and you sang.
Yes, with the naked mole rat. But
Did you really?
That
How
they
was-
discontinued because it looked too phallic.
Oh.
So was he dancing around?
Sorry?
Was the naked mole rat dancing around as you sang?
Yeah, we were in a Jeep, and it was like 90 degrees in LA, dancing outside the Jeep for Christmas.
He must have been sweating a lot, but he has no fur.
Yeah. The man inside of the costume.
This one's my favorite. 2006, you were on Family Guy. You played Quagmire's One Night Stand.
Actually, that's a funny story. So I was on the show, okay? I was hired. No, you need to listen to this one too. This is a good story.
I'm listening.
All right. And I did a bigger part in that episode, right? And then Nicole Sullivan replaced my voice. She replaced Kim in Canada. Yeah, but I found this out years later.
Sorry.
Yeah, so.
That's great.
You're accidentally asking really good questions.
This one, I don't know what the hell this is. Xenon Z3. What was that?
That was another Disney Channel.
You performed Anyone But Me, though, off the soundtrack.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a great song.
I was signed to Atlantic Records. I had a record contract. Don't know if you know that, Joey.
Yeah.
I also was pop star.
My name is Steve.
All right, Steve.
All right, I got
You
one
still
more.
have your mug from last night.
Steve,
I haven't stopped drinking root beer.
definitely not root beer.
I have to pee in a second. Maybe one more question.
All right.
Will, one more question for you. I've heard that you might be running for president. Is that true?
There's a chance that Eric Matthews might be throwing his hat to the ring.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, not you. With Will
Yeah.
Fidelli. You meant, yeah.
Yeah, Senator Eric Matthews, I think, is about to announce his candidacy for president of the United States of America.
Well, I would definitely vote for you.
All right. Joey, Steve. It's gonna be tough to beat those 37 questions for the top.
We've got only one more minute, so
I mean, I can't follow that up. So here's a question. My name's Oktani, by the way.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to Tulsa.
Thanks for having us.
Have you been here before? And if you haven't, how do you like it? If you have, how do you like it?
I was here on October 5th doing work over another weekend, but it was for Comic-Con. But I don't really remember what I did.
So how was it this weekend?
This place is great.
Yeah, but we really enjoyed it. We went to Oktoberfest.
We went to Oktoberfest last night, and it just so far it's like one of those places where you go to where I haven't met a rude person yet.
No, not once. I can't.
Like everybody's so it's like Canada night. Everybody's so incredibly nice and proud of their city, and it's the thing that is kind of amazing though is it like hits 5 or 6 o'clock and there's nobody on the street. It's weird. When I drove in at night, the guy was ringing from the airport. And was like, "Where is everybody?" I said, "Yeah, no, it's like 6 o'clock." It's like, "Oh, okay."
There's actually a concert on the Guthrie Green until 6:30.
Is there? Okay. Did you also know that in Tulsa it is still illegal to bring an elephant downtown? That's the truth. It's still illegal. It's still legal to get a tattoo, though people still go around that kind of thing. And this was a big oil baron state and very big in Art Deco design. I don't know if you know that about your Tulsa. Okay, no, it's true. It's a beautiful place. You should check it out. Thank you.
We got about 60 more seconds. One more question.
Yeah, we're good. If you guys haven't come to see us, please do, because we'll be leaving probably
Pretty soon after. Yeah.
Which will be at your booth.
We'll be at our booth, yeah. What's your question?
My name's Colton.
Hey!
I was wondering, for Transformers Prime, were you originally casted for Bumblebee at the end, or were you always planning to be Bumblebee?
No, I was originally cast at the end, and the thing that was cool was that they didn't want any of the actors to know what part we were reading for, so I was originally cast for a character called Blue Streak. And 2 days before I got there, I got a call saying, "Okay, well, you weren't actually auditioning for Blue Streak, you were auditioning for Bumblebee." And I was like, "What? He talks and it's gonna be me?" So I thought I was gonna do those 2 episodes, and I said, "No, we're actually rolling into a new show called Robots in Disguise." So we've been doing that now for a while, and I get to say, "Let's rev up and roll out," which is kind of neat. So yeah, very cool.
Very last one, right in the back, real quick. Go ahead, real quick. 15 seconds.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Talk faster!
I've been a huge fan of Boy Meets World and Kim Possible. I just have a question for Will.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration to doing Eric Matthews?
That's a great question. You know what it was the inspiration at the very beginning was to not get fired. Just every day, I swear to God, I thought I was going to wait, because it's a dream job, you know, and I've been acting since I was a little kid, and I always wanted to be on a big sitcom. So I would wake up every morning going, hopefully this isn't the day. Just get through today. It's true, it is. It's horrible. So you get there, and it wasn't until probably the 3rd or 4th episode where I really relaxed, and then I realized that my inspiration at the time was to be the best. I'd never been an older brother, so I wanted to be, we all got along so quickly and became a family so quickly that I was with all these, I was the old guy, I was 16, and everybody else was 11 or 12, and I was like, well, I better step into that adult role. And so then my inspiration was to just kind of be the best older brother I could.
As artists,
Thank you.
Just to wrap that off of that, as artists, I think we forget that you both put so much dedication and passion and your heart and soul into your project. So just thank you so much as artists for pouring yourselves into your
I have to say that all of the questions were awesome, but the couple that wants to marry us, I think, wins.